Hey guys, C-Drama Invasion here. Welcome back to a new video, and as this title suggests, we're going to do a monthly wrap-up for July. And I didn't get to watch too many dramas because I was just super busy last month. And there wasn't too many that had my interest aside from one or two currently airings, but I still managed to watch a couple, and here are my thoughts on them. So first off, let's talk about the drama Anna. This is a very short drama based off of a play, and I heard that they will be making an extended version or releasing an extended version. So this drama was fine. I feel like it was a little bit too short and not too much happened, but a lot of people do praise Suzy for her improvement in acting. And I definitely do see that. She didn't play an overly dramatic character or anything, but she played this girl who was kind of desperate, and it's basically the snowball effect where she lies and lies and lies. I wouldn't classify it as really a thriller, more like a melodrama with maybe a little bit of thrilling aspects sometimes. But overall, the pacing was quite slow. I thought this would have been better as maybe like a movie. She looked great as always, and this drama role for her was something a little bit more mature. So I appreciate that, but overall, this was kind of forgettable, at least for me. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10, but shout out to the stylist because she looked great in a lot of these outfits. Next is the historical K-drama Bloody Heart. This has 16 episodes starring Lee Jun, Jang Hyuk, and also Kang Hana. Bloody Heart was one of these historical, a little bit darker, more full of politics drama, and it really hooked me from the first two episodes. But I found that I didn't care for the romance at all, nor the female lead, and this is probably because due to its short runtime, they kind of fast forward after a while of the romance. They didn't really build it up, so you kind of see them fall in love very early on. And while some people could argue that they did form a lot of attachments, I thought that 2 or 3 episodes, seeing them interact wasn't enough. And then later on, when we got to the melodramatics, I didn't really care about the female lead, nor the love story. And for this type of drama, I think it's detrimental if that's the case, because there's lots of scenes when, I don't know, the female lead is kind of hurt or something, and the male lead is searching for her, but I wasn't emotionally attached to the couple. So I didn't really care. I wasn't a fan of it halfway through. I thought that they needed more brilliant planning. Things got really messy. Once again, you could blame it maybe on the just shortened amounts of episodes. Usually these types of dramas, if you watch C-dramas, you would know they would have 40, 50 episodes to explain and get to all the politics, build up this people scheming, building up the various sides, and making you care about everybody. It got into a point where I found myself super unmotivated to continue, but I begrudgingly did just because I was already 70% finished, so I just completed it. I do really like the actors though, especially Lee Jun and Jang Hyuk. Highly recommend Gapdong. That was one of my favorite series with Lee Jun in it. I think he was great at these psychopaths, killer, or anything with more emotion. So melodrama is definitely his expertise. He was great here. Jang Hyuk is, as usual, very charismatic. This is reminiscent of lots of older K-dramas and Saeguk's, and if you like this type of dramas, highly recommend watching Six Flying Dragons. Phenomenal. Empress Key is another one that's just unbeatable if you like these types of dramas. And because I already watched those types of dramas, and I go into this and I always kind of compare it to those ones, since it's a similar genre, it's definitely just not as good in terms of writing. Wouldn't recommend this if you're looking for something with lots of romance. It's definitely more politics. Overall, I'll give this a 6.5, maybe a 7 out of 10. And last for the K-drama section is Jinxed at First. This one I really enjoyed initially. It had so much comedy and it was super fun to watch the female lead interact with all of these market neighbors, I guess. This is a drama about a girl who has great luck. She's basically almost like a witch or a supernatural person with abilities where she can touch you and she can see the future And also she brings immense good luck. And because of this, there's a very dark secret of one of the biggest CEOs and wealthiest businessmen in Korea. And it's that he's been basically keeping the mom and daughter locked up basically as an object, almost like his personal seer. And also this is how they kind of avoid the future, whichever investments that are bad, they kind of avoid it this way. And yeah, it's just their way to predict the future. And it's been going on for generations and generations. Of course, the female lead manages to leave one day and she meets the male lead, falls in love with him from first sight. And for most of the story, she's living with him. He's like working at this fish market. And the premise was super fun to watch at first, but once again, later around the halfway point, it kind of got redundant. Everything was quite predictable. And I was kind of disappointed by the redemption arc of the villain in the story. I mean, at least it had a happy ending, so there's that. But sometimes it was a little bit cringe for me for some reason. This is one that I'll also give a 6.5. I feel like a lot of dramas just don't meet my expectations, or it just goes downhill from the beginning. It's always like good at the beginning and then later it gets really messy or kind of bland. Finally, the last drama that I actually really enjoyed is The Bad Kids. This is one that obviously I think most people have heard of if you're into the genre of Chinese dramas, mystery, that type of drama. This one is quite different because it's not your typical crime drama with cops and stuff involved. It centers around 3 children that was having a little trip to this mountain where they started filming this camera, basically vlogging their trip. But then in the background, they realized that someone was murdered. The Bad Kids really amped up the anxiety, especially with the opening sequences and that song. It reminds me almost of American Horror Story. So good, and it's truly chilling to the bone if you really think about it. I don't get spooked easily, and I'm obsessed with the crime genre, but something about the acting and everything, maybe it's like the kids, the eerie background music, it's just overall so good. I can't really get into it without spoilers, so that's really all I could say. I'm so glad I downloaded this on my road trip where I was just trapped in the car for like 8 hours. And this is one of the only dramas I had on my laptop. So I really got time to enjoy this drama. There's a lot of layers to this. I'm glad I picked it up. From episode 1, I was just instantly hooked. There's just so many layers like social issues, friendship, poverty, power dynamics, etc. There's even mention of the failing welfare system that these children don't want to be a part of. You have a whole cast of characters, which is why the poster looks like that. There's just so many people involved. It's so many layers. It's the teachers, it's the parents, it's the children, it's everything involved that makes this drama what it is. I really like that it's just gritty and there's not too much glitz and glamour. You don't see whitening of the skin. You don't see crazy, beautiful places to shoot in or even good lighting. And these are real details, and many people comment that this is what a lot of reality outside of the small percentage of those big cities look like. There's poverty, and this is just how things are. Definitely a 10 out of 10. This is that type of drama that is slower though, so don't go into it expecting so much to happen. There's a lot of build-up until, I would say, episode maybe 7 or 8. Chin Hao was great in this. He was so unpredictable. Wang Shengdi is phenomenal. I really like her in Heart of Genius, which I still need to catch up on. This cast is spot on, and I really like that everybody has problems, and they show this through the children of broken families. The parental figures or adults' flaws come through. I think why it's so brilliant is it's so realistic that it's scary, because you can feel like these are real people and they could be your neighbors. They could be a kid that you see down the streets and you had no idea what's going on in their lives. Phenomenal production, writing, acting, ending is a tad confusing, and I recommend like reading up posts online or watching videos or stuff to clarify and see the various endings interpretation. But do watch this. Quite short, only 12 episodes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below for any of the dramas we discussed. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And dramas that you recommend to try next, even though I have a whole bunch of dramas to get to. As usual, names, titles of dramas are in the description box below, as well as all the links to previous drama playlists and my Ko-fi page. Thank you for all who decided to buy me a Ko-fi. Make sure to leave a comment or a little message as you do. Highly appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.